In today's video, we will hear 4 stories from different people who have, in some way or another, encountered the supernatural. Have you experienced anything similar or have a story to share with us? Make sure to send it to us. Also, remember to like and subscribe if you want more content, just like this. The Endless Roundabout. The city lights had become too harsh for Emily, a 28-year-old graphic designer yearning for a break from the chaotic pulse of urban life. Seeking solace, I planned a quiet midnight retreat to a remote lake nestled away from the frenetic pace of the city. Eager to escape, I embarked on the journey alone in my reliable old car, a faithful companion on many impromptu adventures. As I set out, my GPS became my guiding light through the labyrinth of unfamiliar roads that wound through the countryside. The night air was cool, and the anticipation of a peaceful swim in the stillness of the lake ahead was a comforting thought. However, as the minutes ticked away, frustration began to replace excitement as I found myself repeatedly navigating the same roundabout. In disbelief, I glanced at the GPS screen, convinced it must be a glitch. I retraced my steps, tried different routes, but the roundabout persisted, an unwavering waypoint in the dark countryside. Perplexed and growing increasingly agitated, I decided to abandon the electronic guide and turn to an old map book tucked away in the glove compartment. The change in approach seemed to work wonders. The car glided smoothly along the winding roads, and the elusive lake drew nearer, with each passing mile. However, the sense of relief was short-lived. As I approached the final stretch of road leading to the lake, the car radio emitted static, an unsettling crackling that cut through the silence of the night. My eyes darted nervously around the car, the headlights casting long shadows on the deserted road. A chill ran down my spine as I noticed the unnatural dance of shadows, seemingly detached from any tangible object. The unease intensified when the headlights flickered erratically, casting the surrounding trees into a macabre ballet of darkness and light. Attempting to shake off the eerie feeling, I pressed on, determined to reach the lake. Yet, fate had other plans. Without warning, the car's engine sputtered and died, leaving me stranded in the quiet darkness near the lake. Panic set in as I frantically tried to restart the engine, but my efforts were met with eerie silence. The stillness of the night was interrupted only by the distant sounds of nature. I, now acutely aware of my isolation, felt a subtle shift in the air. Whispers, barely audible, seemed to swirl around me like a ghostly choir. The atmosphere thickened with an otherworldly presence, a feeling that something beyond the realm of understanding was watching my every move. Fear gripped me as I stepped out of the car, the darkness enveloping me like a shroud. Moonlight shimmered on the surface of the lake, revealing a stillness that mirrored the unease in my heart. The whispers grew more pronounced, an indistinct chorus that seemed to echo from the depths of the lake itself. Torn between curiosity and fear, I hesitated on the lakeshore, gazing into the black expanse before me. The water, normally a source of tranquility, now held an enigmatic allure that both fascinated and terrified me. The supernatural encounter had unfolded, not in the form of monsters or apparitions, but in the subtlety of whispers and the dance of shadows, a haunting experience etched into the memory of a solitary midnight traveler. The haunting fair. The incessant patter of rain on my windshield was my only company as I drove through the desolate night. I had just concluded a grueling work meeting that left me mentally drained. The roads, slick with rain, seemed to stretch endlessly ahead, mirroring the weariness in my mind. The dim glow of streetlights offered little solace against the encroaching darkness. It was during this mundane journey that I noticed a solitary figure standing by the roadside. The rain-soaked stranger appeared to be in need of assistance, and something in me compelled me to offer a lift. The man introduced himself as Alex, his demeanor exuding an air of normalcy that put me at ease. As the miles passed, Alex and I engaged in casual conversation, the rhythm of the rain providing a somber backdrop to our words. It was in the midst of this seemingly ordinary exchange that Alex began recounting unsettling tales of his encounters with the supernatural. The stories were vivid, each one intricately detailing inexplicable phenomena Alex claimed to have witnessed. Among these tales, the number 9,444 emerged as a recurring motif. Alex spoke of how the number had haunted his dreams, appearing in the most unexpected places during moments of distress. He described instances where the number seemed to forewarn him of impending danger, linking it to a mysterious force that seemed to guide his fate. As I listened, I couldn't shake off the feeling that the rain outside had taken on a surreal quality, each droplet whispering secrets of a world beyond the ordinary. Alex's recounting of 9,444 left an indelible impression, and a sense of foreboding settled in the pit of my stomach. The gas station, looming ahead like a beacon in the night, became a focal point for the unfolding supernatural narrative. The fuel pump's mechanical whir seemed to synchronize with the ominous tales shared by Alex, culminating in the chilling total of $94.44. The number, once an abstract sequence, now held an inexplicable power over the unfolding events. Inside the station, the encounter with 9,444 took a sinister turn as the electricity failed during my attempt to pay. Forced to rely on cash, the gas station became a transient stage for a surreal interplay of light and shadow. The strange occurrence heightened my sense of unease, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that the supernatural force hinted at by Alex was now entwined with my own reality. As I resumed my journey through the rain-soaked road, the car's interior became charged with an otherworldly energy. The rhythmic patter of rain on the roof seemed to echo the unsettling tales that reverberated in my mind. The number 9,444, once an innocuous sequence, had become an ominous symbol, casting a shadow over my perception of reality. Little did I know that the night held more secrets, and the number 9,444 was just the beginning of a supernatural odyssey that would redefine my understanding of reality. The road ahead, veiled in darkness and uncertainty, became a path into the unknown, and my encounter with Alex was merely the prelude to a haunting journey that transcended the boundaries of the ordinary. The haunted cabin. The city had become a relentless cacophony, each honk and distant shout adding to the ever-growing dissonance. I, Dave, at the tender age of 22, found myself yearning for a break, a temporary escape from the relentless rhythm of urban life. Scrolling through Airbnb listings, I stumbled upon a rustic cabin deep within a secluded forest, a sanctuary that beckoned me with promises of serenity. With a spontaneous decision, I booked the cabin for a week, craving a respite and hoping to rekindle my passion for writing. The drive to the forest started innocently enough. The city's concrete sprawl gradually gave way to winding roads framed by towering trees. But even in the car, the supernatural made its subtle entrance. Odd shadows danced along the periphery of my vision, their movements both captivating and unnerving. I dismissed them initially as mere figments of an overworked imagination, a consequence of the city's perpetual stress. However, these shadows persisted, gaining form and substance as I ventured deeper into the woods. Arriving at the cabin felt like discovering a hidden treasure. It stood in a clearing, surrounded by ancient trees that whispered tales of centuries past. The air was heavy with the scent of pine, and for a brief moment, the supernatural occurrences seemed to retreat. The tranquility, however, was short-lived. That night, as I lay in bed, an inexplicable energy filled the air. Whispers, faint yet insistent, seemed to emanate from the very walls of the cabin. The temperature inside plummeted unexpectedly, and the dreams began. a vivid tapestry of images that seemed to spill into my waking reality. In these dreams, the cabin transformed into a lively hub from a bygone era. Laughter and conversations from a time long past echoed through the rooms. Faces, unfamiliar yet hauntingly familiar, populated my dreamscape, leaving an indelible mark on my waking hours. During the day, as I explored the cabin's surroundings, I discovered peculiar symbols etched onto trees and rocks. The whispers persisted, sometimes morphing into the murmur of distant conversations. Shadows moved independently, taking forms that defied all logic. One day, when I was looking for the AT controller, I stumbled upon an old photograph from around 1940. To my disbelief, the family in the picture mirrored the one from my dreams. The same faces, frozen in time. The realization hit me like a jolt. The dreams weren't mere figments. They were glimpses into a forgotten past, intertwining with my reality in ways that left me questioning the fabric of time itself. Back in the city, I struggled to articulate the surreal experiences to concerned friends. The cabin, once a refuge, held secrets that begged to be unearthed. The whispers intensified each night, driving me to the brink of sanity. As the moon cast long shadows and the whispers reached a deafening crescendo, I found myself standing at the crossroads of reality and the supernatural. The lines had blurred irreversibly, leaving me to confront the mysteries that lingered in the ancient woods, a journey that would forever alter my perception of the tangible and the ethereal. Resonance of time. I had just left my brother's place in Memphis, the echoes of his 27th birthday celebration still lingering in the air. As a nurse, I was used to the rhythms of life and death, but the weekend with family had left me yearning for a connection to the past. My love for antique items and the stories they carried led me to explore flea markets and secondhand stores along my journey home. It was during one of these stops that I stumbled upon a conversation with an old woman. She had a weathered face, as if time had etched its own stories into her skin. Among the vinyl records I purchased from her, she spoke of an abandoned town not far from my route, an eerie place frozen in time. Intrigued by her tales, I decided to take a detour and explore this forgotten community. As I approached the desolate town, a chill ran down my spine. The air seemed to thicken with the weight of untold stories, and the abandoned buildings stood like solemn sentinels. Despite the eerie silence, I felt drawn to uncover the mysteries that lingered in the shadows. Whispers in the wind carried echoes of laughter and distant conversations from decades past. Old photographs inside decaying homes came to life, painting a vivid picture of the lives that once filled these now. Silent streets. The town, seemingly immune to the passage of time, held an atmosphere that transcended the physical decay. Driven by curiosity, I found myself standing before a particularly decrepit building. The weathered facade seemed to conceal secrets that begged to be unearthed. As I crossed the threshold, the air became charged with an otherworldly energy, and the whispers grew more insistent. Undeterred, I pressed on, determined to unravel the enigma that surrounded me. It was then that the inexplicable occurred. My car, parked nearby, moved of its own accord. Almost 40 yards away, it stood as a testament to the surreal nature of the town. Bewildered, I rushed back to the car, only to find it sitting motionless, engine off, keys absent, and both the gear and handbrake securely engaged. The logical part of my mind, honed by years of medical training, grappled with the supernatural phenomenon. The unsettling incident became a mystery within a mystery, deepening the enigma of the abandoned town. Undeterred, I continued my journey through the silent streets, the town seeming determined to share its untold stories. The echoes of abandonment grew more pronounced with each step. The past intertwined with the present, and I found myself not only unraveling the town's mysteries, but confronting my own connection to the lingering spirits. The whispers guided me, Shadows revealed fragments of a forgotten history, and I, the pragmatic nurse, became entangled in a tale that transcended time, touching the very core of my being.